Hey guys, so I wanted to come on here while I have some time. I could have done this earlier, but it was raining, as you can tell by the clouds and everything. We had basically an on and off period of, a downpour of rain at times. So, it wasn't ideal to do any filming. I had to be inside my job for a bit, walking around and killing time. But I wanted to come on here mainly to, talk about a few things. Mostly the report that came out yesterday and was more so talked about today via Fightful.com. And that report is the fact that apparently from those within the confines of Disney and Comcast, who are two of the runners, if you will, the main runners of trying to potentially purchase WWE, should it be sold. Basically, according to Fightful.com, there are those within, within Disney and Comcast themselves, that believe that they and other companies, depending on who would get WWE, would not want to have anything to do with Vince McMahon. Yeah. Basically, those that I guess are close to the situation on the WWE side of things and the Disney and Comcast side of things have basically made it known, according to Fightful.com, that nobody would want to deal with Vince McMahon should the company be sold. And that is really intriguing, because you would think, well, this is Vince McMahon. Of course he would have some kind of say, right? Yeah, potentially he could have some kind of say, but it seems that the potential buyers out there, no matter who it could be, are basically telling Vince, through various sources, yeah, we buy the company, we don't want you here. That's basically it. And this is why a lot of people, even though it's come out recently that Saudi Arabia is no longer a strong favorite, at all to potentially buy the company with the PFI group, which is the public investment fund of Saudi Arabia, even though they've become basically, a non-factored favorite, if you will. There's a lot of folks like JustAlyx and JD and a few others that believe, because of the fact that Fightful and other sources are reporting this, that will automatically, by default, put Saudi Arabia back in the driver's seat, because they believe they're the kind of people that would want to work with Vince McMahon. They would want Vince McMahon, in some, power, some role of power, if you know what I mean. But here's the thing: we don't know that. For all we know, a majority of those companies, like Disney and Comcast, who themselves have said, hey, we don't want nothing to do with Vince if we get the company. For all we know, the PFI group could be the same way. Because like I said, we don't know really anything about the PFI group of Saudi Arabia. For all we know, they could basically be completely different, than the fellow countrymen, if you will. It's like maybe they look at more of a modern kind of, run for the company, modern future, a more updated modern future, I should say, for the country. And maybe they share the ideals of the U.S. and the U.K. and so on. Again, we don't know much about them, because we're going because basically what we're doing is we're judging the public investment fund group of Saudi Arabia off the reputation of the country and its beliefs itself. So yeah, we don't know if the PFI group could potentially feel the same way that Disney and Comcast and others would feel, and not really want to have anything to do with Vince. We don't know. Now, what's interesting, according to those that kind of gave their own take on the reports by Fightful and PW Insider and all that, people like, let's say, JD from NY206 and even JustAlyx and others, apparently when Triple H held the talent meeting and said what he did to calm their nerves and everything, Kevin Dunn, as I talked about in my video, video and potentially future audio, Kevin Dunn basically stepped up he stepped up and spoke in the meeting, and he basically told the talent, look, I've been working for Vince for 40 years, and since he's been back, he has not told me anything. He has not communicated with me in any shape or form about any potential changes. Basically repeating what Triple H had just said. And now here's the thing. Other sources have picked up on that and confirmed that that is kind of legit from Kevin Dunn. Now, of course, you have JD that believes, that kind of looks at it from a positive perspective, but also looks at it like, yeah, but this is Kevin Dunn we're talking about. For all we know, he could be full of crap and he's maybe lying. Who knows? But again, we'll have to see. But if Kevin Dunn is willing to, stand in front of the roster and say, not only repeat Triple H's words or back up what Triple H had said, but then say, hey, I'm somebody that has been with Vince for 40 years, and even I don't know what's going on because he hasn't communicated with me. And to anybody hearing that from someone that's been basically one of Vince's behind-the-scenes right-hand men, that is not only a surprise, but that's kind of a sigh of relief. That is a kind of a sigh of relief. But then again, like I said, you have people like JD and JustAlyx, coming out and essentially not, they're kind of trying to look at the positive, but they're also trying to be more realistic. But I think that realistic, as I mentioned before many times in that audio video podcast I did, is about trust and belief. In other words, they do not trust or believe anything they hear until they essentially, this is what I'm getting from it, until essentially they can get concrete evidence that things are going to be fine. In other words, what they're saying is, don't give us mixed messages, give it to us straight. Give it to us straight. Let us know yay or nay of what's going on and leave it at that. That's essentially what they want. They want either yay or nay as their answer, and that's it. Because right now, what they feel is they're getting is mixed signals, which is why they're trying to, as they put it, be more real, more like, down with you on what's going on, and not yank you around and say, hey, you got to remember who you're talking about. You got to remember who's a part of this. How do you know whether or not this guy's not gonna want to step forward and take over? You see, that's the thing they're trying to. I think that's basically the thing they want to get clarified is, yay or nay of what's going on. They want pretty much a straight answer from people like Sean Ross Sapp, who has contacts within the company. They want pretty much a straight answer. As I try to check my time here. Okay, I got about 17 minutes. But they want pretty much a straight answer. They don't want to keep having mixed signals. They want pretty much a straightforward answer. Whether it comes from Sean Ross Sapp or even from someone within the company. They want a straight answer of, is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? Give it to us straight, so we can be ready. That's all they want. I mean, even with Stephanie's resignation, and the fact that this actually has a multitude of things surrounding it, like people believe she's doing it or she did it because of the talk going around that, hey, her dad potentially was going to consider selling to Saudi Arabia. There was talk that was the reason. There's talk of the fact of the tensions that her and her dad had with each other, that Nick Khan had to step in between to calm the situations down before they escalated. That could be why she stepped down. It could be the fact that, people are saying, well, you got to remember, she originally was going on a sabbatical last year. She was originally going on a sabbatical last year, and because of what happened, she had to basically, put that on the shelf for the time being. And now she wants to resume that sabbatical, being spending more time with the family, experiencing the WWE like the rest of us do as a fan, to see exactly maybe what we're talking about, where we're coming from, as well as, like I said, spend time with her family, be there for the moments, that her girls are going to experience and stuff, as well as be there for Hunter if anything happens to him. But also the fact that another thing you could tie into her, leaving is the fact that she had to get ankle surgery, a surgery that would probably keep her out for, I would say an uncertain amount of time. I mean, if you look at her Twitter page and the photos she's posted, yeah, that pretty much could tell you that she may not be around for quite some time, which is why she's taking a sabbatical. But others will believe certain other reasons because of the fact, as I've said before, it's trust and belief. They do not trust and believe anything unless it's concrete evidence in their face. Basically, it's like, just give it to us straight. We can handle it either way. Give it to us straight. Is this happening? Is that happening? Give it to us straight. That's what it is. That's what it is. But again, some of the silver linings that they see, out of all this in the past 24, 48 hours, is you have Kevin Dunn, a longtime associate, right-hand person of Vince McMahon, saying, hey, what Triple H is telling you guys, the roster, and by extension the fans, because we get, information, via places like Fightful, what Triple H is telling all of you, is fact. Nothing's going to really change. And oh, by the way, how do I know that? Because I haven't heard anything from Vince since he's been back, and I've been with him for 40 years. So yeah, some people look at that as a silver lining, and a lot of people look at the fact that a lot of the potential buyers from Disney, Comcast, Universal, Netflix, Amazon, Endeavor, Liberty Media, potentially 7 Buck Productions, which is The Rock's, company, and others, AEW, potentially. Although AEW, from what words going around, is the cons wouldn't mind having Vince, in some capacity. It may not be power, but it would be some kind of capacity, that I think they would find useful for him. Who knows? But yeah, maybe even them to an extent, potentially, if they decide to reconsider. Even though they would keep the bid in, but reconsider maybe, Vince being around may not be a good thing. Basically the overall consensus, and even maybe the PFI of Saudi Arabia, the overall consensus that people look at as potentially another bit of silver lining and hope outside of the, Kevin Dunn backing up what, Triple H said, and even saying, hey, Vince hasn't even contacted me, is the fact that none of the potential buyers, a majority of them, want nothing to do with Vince if they were to buy the company. They don't. They want nothing to do with Vince based on, obviously, a lot of the news and allegations and stuff that come out about him that have shown him in a very negative, unpopular light, if you catch my drift. A very negative, unpopular light. And I don't think anybody could blame these companies, for feeling that way, even those that you may think would be the kind that would support having Vince in power, but yeah, those are the only silver linings. Now, of course, some people are going to take the information about, Vince is now all of a sudden rumored to be supposedly telling other departments, at the Stamford, Connecticut offices, you're not doing certain things this way, they got to be done this way, and all that, or they're not doing things, the right way. A lot of people are interpreting that as him saying, you're not doing it my way, and all that. But here's the thing, those are rumors. And part of what Kevin Dunn said in that speech, when he backed up what Triple H said, and he even confirmed that, hey, Vince hasn't even told me. What else was reported, I don't know if it was mentioned by Kevin Dunn in the meeting, or it was just something they found out. Vince had made these suggestions, which I guess is the same thing as, not suggestions, but basically Vince had made suggestions. I don't know if it's the same thing as, trying to tell other departments or suggest to other departments, hey, you're not doing, things the way they are. Basically pushing his weight around. I don't know if that's the same thing or not, but basically, according to the report by Fightful Select, talking about the talent meeting, the last thing they mentioned is none of the suggestions Vince made have been implemented. And again, I don't know if that's the same as the, telling the departments at Stamford, Connecticut, hey, you're not doing things a certain way. If that's just, a rumor of the fact that, he's trying to suggest them doing things his way as other people would see it, and it's not been, and those suggestions have not been implemented. We don't know. But again, this is all based on opinion. It's all based on people's opinions on how they think Vince is trying to bully, trying to push his weight around again and all that. But like I said, the silver lining out of all of this, is, the meeting, the talent meeting that happened, and Kevin Dunn actually backing up what Triple H said, and probably the big one in a lot of people's eyes is that basically all the potential bidders and buyers of WWE, if it gets sold, including maybe those that we would not expect, like the PFI, in my opinion, don't want Vince in power. They don't want to associate with him because of what has come down the pipe in the past year or two. So, yeah, there is a silver lining in all that, but again, people are going to have their opinions because of trust and belief. And when it comes down to it, when they hear these reports from places like Fightful Select and PW Insider and others, what they want is concrete evidence. They want straight up, yay or nay, give it to us straight, concrete evidence of, is this happening or is it not happening? Stop mixing your signals, kind of deal. But what are your guys' thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video, and until next time, guys, I gotta get into work, and I am out. But let me know what your thoughts are. Peace out.